Sjevernoirski Stiff Little Fingers osnovani su davne 1977. godine. Trebalo im je više od 30 godina da napokon zasviraju u Hrvatskoj.
Yeah, it's taken us a long time to get here, but it's really nice to be here. I mean, we've heard a lot of really nice things about the place, and I mean, obviously we only arrived a couple of hours ago, so I haven't seen anything yet, but we're very much looking forward to it. When we started out, punk rock was very much a side sort of business to the music business. It wasn't mainstream. It wasn't accepted. It didn't get played on radio. Didn't get played on television. And now, obviously, with bands like Green Day and people like that, it's very much part of the mainstream. It's part of the music business, if you like, which like I said, it wasn't at the time.
Nakon kratkotrajnog benda koji je svirao obrade rock standarda, dečki su poslušali Clashovce uživo i tako otkrili punk. Promijenili su ime u Stiff Little Fingers i tijekom godina postali su jednim od najznačajnijih predstavnika žanra. Jake Burns jedini je stalni i nepromijenjeni član. U posljednjih 30 godina svijet se promijenio, ili možda nije.
Obviously times change, but I think that the important thing from my point of view, the thing that I took from punk rock was that it was a form of protest music, and I think that there are always going to be things to complain. There are always going to be things to complain about. What's been interesting is with the rise of the internet and home recording and stuff, how much it's actually gone back to what it was like in the early days. In so much as when we started out, obviously record companies weren't interested in signing punk bands because they didn't know how to market them. So bands ended up having to make records for themselves. So from that point of view, the whole do-it-yourself ethic has almost come back. So it's almost come full circle.
Je li punku po njegovoj definiciji, tradiciji i prvotnoj svrsi uopće mjesto u srednjoj struji popularne glazbe na top ljestvicama?
I think that's more indicative of the actual music industry than it is of the music itself. I think that just because something's popular doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. A lot of things that are popular are bad, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everything that's popular is bad. And I think you stand more chance of affecting a change if you're working from within than working from without. But you're right, it's not a natural environment for somebody who's going to complain. You can't really complain bitterly about EMI Records and one side and then take their check on the other.
Stiff Little Fingers osnovan je nakon što su dečki uživo poslušali Clashovce, svoje uzore. Tijekom godina i sami su postali uzori.
Actually, it's the ones who I don't see us in are the ones that I'm most impressed by. I think that if you just slavishly copy somebody, then it's not actually that flattering if somebody says, oh yes, they were a huge influence, and you listen to them and go, well, of course we were, you sound like us. I'd much rather hear bands that find their own voice and do something for themselves. And if we've managed to kickstart that in somebody, then that's obviously a very flattering thing.
I za kraj, neizostavna tema posljednjih dana je i odlazak Malcolma McLarena, iznimne figure u povijesti punka.
I never met Malcolm, no. I passed him once in the street and I wasn't sure if it was him, and I sort of stopped and stared, and he actually stopped and went, yes, it's me, and walked on. That's the closest I ever came to meeting him. So no, I never actually knew him, but obviously, with regards to his his motivation and his management, and if you like, almost sort of his manipulation almost of the Sex Pistols and the start of punk rock, he was a hugely important figure. I would argue not as important as the musicians themselves, obviously, but I think he did have a vision that I don't think the individual members of the Sex Pistols would have had without him. So from that point of view, I mean, as a provocateur, as somebody who actually sort of lit the blue touch paper and started the whole thing, he was vitally important. Hi, I'm Jake Burns from Stiff Little Fingers, and this is Weep Music Club LP.